sent Faith a note because she was talking about another contractor we should contact and
Oh,
who never
okay.
called her back.
Oh,
But
okay.
if Todd has the time, he will come and do a great job.
Okay, that might be the thing.
Because he did the cleanup of the pond.
In the winter, because you're grinding, you're bundled up anyway. But these, Faith Studio, this one, and the big studio at the end, are all in-floor heat. They have coils, radiant heat, so very nice every day. And the metal is melted in here. This is a crucible that this, well, it's come up out of
So you're
the
doing
furnace.
it just like 2 gallons at a time?
This is about 210 pounds of bronze when it's when that's filled.
Forgive me, so, yeah, because I'm discounting the weight
Yeah, the weight.
of the fluid.
Yeah, but yeah, that allows you to do a very.
Cindy, here you are. That's
Yeah.
Aiden.
Yeah, careful, that don't drop it on your tongue.
Just
Oh my
to get
goodness.
an
It's heavy.
idea of what
Wow.
that ingot
Yes.
weighs. That's 1 ingot, and how many do we put in?
Well, usually it'd be about 10
Yeah,
in there.
Wow.
10 ingots.
10 ingots. And
Bronze is a mixture of alloys or something.
it
right?
is.
got-
It's copper. This is Evadur bronze, which is about 92–95% copper. And then silicon, the metal silicon, is added to that. If you melt copper into a molten state, it just is sluggish. It's molten, but it won't pour with fluidity. Whereas you add a little bit of silicon and it pours like water.
Wow. Gets-
At-
So
at-
just
at
silicone
2,000
and copper,
degrees.
that's all
Excuse
it
me.
is?
What's that?
Silicone and copper?
Yeah, there may be a few trace elements.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, this goes everywhere.
So this is the idea, that's here, and then Dexter has a device.
Don runs the.
I run this. It turns a device that goes over that thing.
Pick it up.
Lifts it up.
Move it out.
A person on each end, I'm lifting, they're holding,
We
keep
steer
it
it.
steady, comes over here to where the molds are embedded
And
in
then you're
sand.
pouring into the mold.
Pouring.
Gotcha, now I get it. So first you make the clay, first the wire, then the clay.
Right.
Then you take the, you
Plaster
disassemble.
mold. A negative mold, like if I make up my hand and then I
So you're not baking this in one
take
day.
plaster off of that, what I have is my hand in reverse. And then that is, wax is poured in or painted in.
And
So you get a
then
thin wax shell.
Here's the
Yeah.
best
Oh,
illustration.
that's a good.
of what, this is the mule's tail.
Okay.
So this is a good illustration of how this works.
So this was
This is,
put over, the clay looked just like this.
Right.
We made a plaster mold and then
It melts the
now we get a
wax
hollow,
out, right?
hollow wax. And this wax is developed into the final surface that's needed. And then that is encased in yet another material. So the original mold stays. This mold goes around the wax, goes into the kiln.
Then just
All
the
the wax
wax
is melted
surface?
out,
it's,
burns up in the
Burns
kiln.
up.
Burns
And any moisture, because you're adding water, all that is driven off. I got it.
I don't know, this is more complicated.
it's very complicated. And
Well,
all,
thank you for being
and
interested.
so much physical work.
Yeah.
I never knew how much work was involved.
They think Michelangelo had it easy, just
Well, he had none
freeing
of
the
these
prisoners
tools.
from the
He
rock.
had none of this.
Wow.
And then burners go in, takes it up to 900 degrees, and we hold it there for however long it takes. Might be 36 hours. And the propane company likes us for that
We
reason.
love you.
Oh, yeah.
We're so happy to
Yeah,
see you
it's
in
just-
town.
So when this process is done, you've got these molds with this very thin, what would you call
Void.
it?
Boy,
A
it's
void
where
where
the
wax
wax
was.
Right.
And that's what, and the molten bronze Evadur, because it pours like water at 2,000 degrees, You pour it into
So
the
it
mold.
melts the wax, burns it off because it's
Right.
so hot.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about it escaping, but you have to worry about creating bubbles or anything, or
You
nothing?
do, yes.
Okay.
I mean, you're very astute.
No, I'm just wondering, because, well, volume, it was taking up space, so.
Yes, and so there's a gating system. The metal, you plan for that. The metal goes to the bottom of the mold first. It's a wax bar because you're dealing with wax.
Oh.
And that, when that burns out, that's a hollow tube that takes the metal to the bottom and it flows up through the piece, and you have vents and other guides there. Oh yeah, there's Don's gonna.
Here's some of that gating and tubing.
Yeah.
Because this is bronze, but these are the tubes that take the bronze, because this is all flowing hot metal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's taking this
To the destination.
to the
Yeah, to the
destination.
destination, exactly.
And we reuse this.
Yeah, anything, once the piece is cast, all that gating is cut off and can be remelted. Is that a pouring cup? Yeah, that's,
And here's a cup that was originally in wax.
yeah.
And here are the, you see the bronze?
Oh, yeah, wow.
So these were,
To look at this, you think, oh, that's just junk. You know,
yeah, but
it is, it's good.
this is the way the bronze flows. Then when it cools, you've got bronze.
And we pour this cup right to, when you pour until it's full. But as it cools, because the metal is heated and it's expanded, as it cools, it shrinks back down. I guess you'd say labor intensive.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
The tail of the mule.
Yep. Be careful with that, Chris, because
Oh,
that's
it's-
the real thing.
Yeah, but I haven't touched it up yet. Yeah, it's the real deal. But-
I mean, that's what's gonna be
Yeah.
the bronze.
And the wax is melted in a deep fryer, a restaurant deep fryer.
Made all of his tools,
I was
as you
just
can
gonna say,
probably
yeah.
see. I mean, this is not high tech, but
This is some of that gating,
Yeah?
that, the pouring cup.
Oh, that,
Greg, you're gonna
Would
like
be
to see
attached
inside
to that
there, what
to see-
warms that up.
I don't have a pouring cup here. But anyway, yeah, a mold is made in, well, there's too much to say, but we'll never get to lunch. But anyway, this is,
It feels sort of rubbery, doesn't it?
yeah, it's kind of a fairly flexible material. And this is kept in here where it's, I think it's at 85 degrees, so that it remains pliable. This is one of the few things that made it through the fire. I had welded this up before, and all the insulation was burned out. So I bought some of that spray foam insulation in a can and just shot it full of information. And it works fine.
But Dexter, this is amazing because seemingly everything's got the Dexter, Benedict,
Fingerprints on it.
well, yeah, you made it. I mean, it's not like you bought it off the shelf and saying, I want to be a sculptor, give me the process. You knew what you needed to do and then you made it.
Well, there's a lot of that, what do they say?
Mother being necessity being
Necessity
the mother of
being
invention.
the mother of invention,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
ingenuity just is part of what you have to deal with, because like you said, if you went out to buy this, I'm not sure where you'd buy it. I
Well,
mean,
there are a few things like your electric welder.
Yes.
That spews out bronze
wire. Yeah, we can
So-
take it. You'd be interested perhaps.
But that's what's been remarkable about my little twin is everything's sort of, then we had to do this, we had to jerry rig that, and all of a sudden you ended up with a product which you have right out there with Harry Truman, It's like, wow.
So this has the same bronze wire as the alloy. It's Everdure wire, which is the same as what we're pouring, so that you can weld things together and there's no color change.
So all these pieces, because as Dexter pointed out, when you take the clay statue apart to make molds, you're doing a hand,
Yes.
a foot, a head,
A whole
a
upper
torso,
body, yeah.
whatever, in pieces. In order to be able to pour it successfully, you wouldn't pour a whole statue like that. It would be impossible. Even the great Rodin couldn't do that.
No.
And so you do it in pieces, but then it all has to be welded back together precisely
Yeah.
and then ground off and cleaned up and brushed.
Right?
And it's an immense amount.
So just to get a sense, so I'm right through, I'm looking at Truman as I'm
Yes.
videotaping. How many pieces would make up that Truman statue? Did you,
It's just about 14.
14?
14 pieces, some as small as a hand, and others a big torso section.
Yeah.
But nothing
legs.
higher than what will fit in that kiln.
Right, everything
It
has
has to fit in that kiln.
and the capacity of the crucible, you don't want to go over 200 pounds
At a time.
at a pour. Yeah, so.
She was talking about another contractor we should contact.